Right, so thank you for taking the time to join me in discussing some like sensitive subjects surrounding male privilege, lad culture. My name's Jordan. I'm joined by Dom, Matty, and Kia. I created this interview series with a goal of helping to normalise and educate our generation and the next generation around sensitive subjects, which we'll look to explore over the next coming weeks and coming months. So, the first question to base off with, lads, if you don't mind, is vulnerability a weakness? And then, Kia, let it go, mate.
Yes and no. Like, it depends what, like, I don't know what context you're looking at it. I don't believe if you're ever in a vulnerable state, you should perceive that you're weak, because you should always. Vulnerability shouldn't be perceived as being weak. Full stop. Like if you are in a vulnerable area, it can be. I feel like it can be really healing for yourself to just open up and let someone into like what you're experiencing at the time. But it can hinder yourself by not understanding it properly. I think. Like the example I was saying before about my ex and her partner, whenever she was feeling vulnerable and was emotional, he would just shut her off instead of discussing whatever was going wrong because he perceived that he was the root cause of why she was hurt, which is ridiculous. Like from being a new partner, like the perspective of that is, why would you ever look at someone being upset and instantly think you've done wrong? Like it, I don't know. Like it's like it's just stemmed from that like proper horrible masculine premise that women deal with emotions and men deal with, I don't even know, just fucking bollocks. Like So it's a difficult question to say like is vulnerability weak, because it's dependent on the person and how you treat it as a whole. That's like my take on it.
That is true. I think vulnerability, to sum it up, is you feel a range of emotions, but they don't hold you back. But weakness is you feel a range of emotions and you're overwhelmed and you're paralyzed through it. Would you say something similar there?
Yeah, you feel like polarized, where you can be in positions where everything does become too much, and men definitely don't seek out the opportunity to go and discuss those things with people as much as what other people in society do. I'm not part of that. Like I'm a very open, easy person. Doesn't matter who I'm talking to. I'm like comfortable enough in myself to let someone know if I'm in a fucking shit mood or I'm really upset. Because you shouldn't. I don't believe you should feel shame being vulnerable.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
What about you, Matty?
I mean, I don't obviously consider any kind of vulnerability as weakness, but it is viewed in the male terms as weak. Like I say, if you seem like a vulnerable male, then you seem like a weak male. I'm not gonna like. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you seem to have like, I don't know, insecurities or like current problems going on, some male mindsets literally go, right, I'm doing better than him, so I am better than him. Like literally, I'm doing better than him, so I'm better than him. Like, but it doesn't work the same way as like a guy viewing a girl with vulnerabilities. You don't see a girl being like, you don't see her crying and that and being like, oh, you're weak. You'd be like, I want to look after her. Why isn't it replicated with males? You know, if you see a boy crying, for me, I'd be like, what the fuck's wrong, bro? But a lot of guys would be like, you fucking pussy, like, why are you crying? Get away.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I don't consider it as, but I'd definitely say, especially within what we're talking about, this lad culture kind of thing, I'd say that if you seem vulnerable, then you could be considered weak within the lad mindset. But that is just one opinion, I think.
If I can like tie on to the end of that, I think from experiences with friends, if I get certain friends one-on-one, they will be more than happy for me to open up and discuss like how I'm feeling. But the second we're like around each other and it becomes this competition, like scenario, like all the boys have met up and you've all got to be showing your best side. Like
Mm.
I don't have any qualms like meeting up with the lads and like telling everyone what's going on. But then you'll see all these people that would normally discuss it with like a mature mindset. They
Yeah.
would just brush it off and like tell you to deal with it alone and like get through it by yourself, which is just fucking. It doesn't make any
Toxic.
sense to me. It doesn't
No,
make sense to me.
It really is toxic. What do you say, Dom?
I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking we're talking about like vulnerability as being a weakness, and it's like, Kia said about the boyfriend that shot down his girlfriend because she would open up and she would cry, and then Matt was saying about if you see a lad cry, that's a vulnerability, and you're not going to see it as a weakness.
Yeah.
But then it seems like as soon as a lad sees a moment of, because crying is like the one moment for a lad where you have your guard completely down.
True. Yeah, very true.
And it's a spontaneous moment where a lad will not be thinking about, like you're saying, he won't be competitive and thinking, oh, I need to be on the top. He's completely relaxed in his vulnerability of crying in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree. I think as lads, I think we don't like to see vulnerability as a weakness, but we see certain aspects of it as a weakness. So if you've got a friend that is, say you're walking down the street and they just start randomly crying, you're like, why are you crying? Like, come on, snap out of it. But if you've got them on their own and a lad's in a safe space, then it's much better for them to open up. And it's like the happy medium of, do I be really masculine all the time, or do I do a bit of 50-50? Do you know?
Yeah, nah, I feel that. I don't know. I just find it's a difficult one. I'm just open. I'm open with anyone I meet. No matter if it's like a work-based environment, meeting new friends, being in like, I don't know, like this fucking chat room, like meeting you guys for the first time.
Yeah.
I think like a big thing to it, Kia, as well, is like from my point of view is I don't know if it's the same for you as well, but since school and since going to uni is I feel like I've lost these boy or shoulders that I used to carry around with me. If that was in a friendship group or in any environment, I felt like I had this walk because of who I was with and the environment I was surrounded with. But now getting a bit older, I've got rid of these shoulders like subconsciously, and I don't feel like I just say just an open book. I'm myself around anyone and everyone you meet. Obviously, for a majority of the lads out there, it's exactly what we're saying is, in a big group environment, it's competitiveness. As soon as Don was saying, you're a competitive lad, which is fine. It's really good to be competitive out there. But then it's always the case when you get someone one-on-one, the sound. They open up. But then in a group environment, if you were to bring something up with that lad present, he would knock you down.
Yeah, do you know, like I've got. This is a touchy ass subject, but
it's toxic.
I don't mind saying it. Certain groups of friends that I've got. If I meet my friends and then they meet up with other pals, a part of like people I'm not really as close with. There's been times where like we've been in situations with people of other ethnicities and racial slurs will just be getting chucked left, right, and centre, right? And I'm never one to like join in with it, and I don't agree with it either. And all these lads that like I'm pals with, if I see them one-on-one, if I see them in little groups, they're all for like equality in races, and they've got like ethnic friends. But the second they're with like the majority, and the majority say is like they're a fucking packy or whatever, like they'll just cohere to it, and they would rather go along with the leading masculine mentality than to question it, if you know what I mean. It's kind of the same sense.
None of us dare call our boys out.
Yeah. Like
we don't do it.
You want
we do not call our boys out. It's simple as, and it's embarrassing, really. It's embarrassing.
Oh yeah, of course it is.
It's good for the people that do stand up to the mates and understand that, like, look, these are my morals, these are my beliefs, and my social circle if that's going to be said out loud, then I'm going to question something. But 9 times out of 10, as I said at the start, it gets swept under the rug and we move on. And it becomes
Yeah,
normal.
no, nah, you're completely right. But in like the situations I was talking about, I'll voice how I feel, and instead of them wanting to open the topic of discussion, they'll just leave it, as you say, just brush it under the rug, to probably in their minds to keep themselves happy with me as well. Because if they're seeing that I don't have their same views, I shouldn't be hanging out with them. I shouldn't be hanging out with them. But you can love someone and like have a friendship with someone for a million other reasons than like that one. I know it's an extreme viewpoint, but like that one thing. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, of course. Obviously, we can talk about this for hours. I know we can, but like we will move on to the next question. That was question one.
Yeah.
Anyways, we'll start with Dom, mate, if that's all right with you. And the next question is, has your male privilege ever been very apparent to you? And if so, in what situation was it and how old was that? I'm guessing this is in regards to when you were with the opposite sex, so like girls, females, etc., etc. Has there been a situation where it's been quite apparent that you're in that privileged position?
The only thing I'll say this: I'm very sort of close with my sister and my mother, and all the females in my family are very close knit. And I would probably say it's hard to pin down where I could say I have male privilege, but I would have to say, like, if I'm giving them advice, sometimes it can be too forceful, and I'm like, you're going too ahead of yourself, and you're just giving them your opinion, and you're not letting them actually give it you back. So you're just, in a way, it's something I hate, is someone suppressing how you want to express yourself and talk. And then sometimes you're talking to them and saying, you should do this, you should do that. And it's very sort of like knocking them down, not in a negative way, but it's like, that's the only way I can sort of, off the top of my head, think about male privilege, is in conversations and thinking, yeah, we can do this and we can do that. And then it's, if I put it in this term, like say you wanted to be a CEO or an owner of your own business, and you go, yeah, you can do this, you can do that. But then we can't think as a female where there's all these other issues of, they will get to a certain level, and then you have like the major issues, like they might want kids, but they can't have kids because it will bring them back. Won't let them progress. And it's like sometimes you're always looking through the goggles of a male point of view. And I think it's sometimes you've got to think, right, there's a female sort of perspective and there's a male perspective. And I think that's where sometimes I like my male privilege of thinking it's just as simple for females as it is for males, where it's not. And I'm not trying to jump on like a feminist bandwagon of like saying, equality for everyone. I think it's just looking through different glasses, because like you say, you can be tunnel visioned. It's good to open, get the blinders off and open. I go off on a tangent sometimes. Like, you give me a question, I'll just go off.
No, mate, I totally agree with that. Like, and I never really thought about it from that point of view, really, in regards to different perspectives, like different goggles. I think that's really interesting. I think as a male, I don't think for the longest time, like, we don't really look at it from their point of view. We're so focused on our own mission, our own goals, that we overlook things. I think it's a very key point. Has anyone else got anything to say on that?
Well, yeah, I'll add on to that. Me and my dad were talking today, and he said he was like on a group conference call kind of thing about like equality and that sort of thing. Yeah. And he was saying like someone was chirping up, basically saying like they were surprised coming into like the civil service, like to see how like little like black or like ethnic diversity there was, kind of thing. And I basically said to him, I was like, yeah, that's probably true, because like, especially in the civil service, like the majority of jobs have been owned by white males the whole time, and that's who is in power in this country right now. And it is going to take time to change that, because obviously, like age-wise, they're all 70 odd at this time. But like, and it shouldn't be like that. But at the same time, like, it should be, equal in his level, but like it's going to take time a higher level, but he needs to change the higher level, but like we can't, you know what I mean? It's not going to happen like that, but it does need to change.